Stop suffering on plastic sport bikes. The golden age of naked motorcycles has arrived. We found the bargain beasts hiding superbike engines in street frames. These machines are cheaper to insure and absolutely terrifying when you open the throttle. We compiled the ultimate list of 15 bikes that hit the holy trinity: cheap, reliable, and fast. We reveal exact prices, insane speeds, and the secret flaws sellers won't tell you. Ready to leave Porsches in the dust for pennies? Let's go. Number 15. Suzuki SV650. We start our countdown with the undisputed champion of the budget naked world. If you look up motorcycle in the dictionary, there should be a picture of the Suzuki SV650. It has been in production since 1999, and it refuses to die because it is perfect. It features a 645 cubic centimeter 90-degree V-twin engine. That 90-degree part is crucial. It gives the bike perfect primary balance without heavy counterbalancers, and it creates a firing order that sounds like a WWI fighter plane. It makes 75 horsepower. That might not sound like a lot in a world of 200 horsepower superbikes, but the torque is available instantly. Track Day Tom says he has beaten guys on R1s at tight tracks purely because the SV is so easy to ride fast. He bought his for $2,000 with a dent in the tank, and he has put 50,000 track miles on it without opening the engine. You can find used Gen 2 models for as low as $3,000. A brand new one will set you back $7,949, but the used market is where the magic is. The SV is a legend, but some riders call it too nice. Our next bike takes that friendly formula and injects it with pure aggression. It's leaner, meaner, and built for the concrete jungle where only the toughest survive. Number 14. Kawasaki 150. Kawasaki looked at the success of the SV650 and said, "We can do that, but with more attitude." The Z650 is the successor to the ER6N. It uses a 649 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine. Unlike the Suzuki, this engine feels more mechanical, raw, and grunty. It makes 67 horsepower, but it is tuned for mid-range punch. It doesn't scream, it grunts. It pulls hard from traffic lights and makes city riding a breeze. It tops out at 120 miles per hour, which is plenty for a naked bike where the wind tries to rip your head off anyway. Ergonomically, it is compact. It feels smaller than the SV. The handlebars are closer to the rider, and the digital dash makes it feel more current. It is incredibly light, weighing only 410 pounds. You can flick it through traffic like a bicycle. This is the urban assault vehicle. It is perfect for slicing through gridlock during the week and carving canyons on Sunday. City Slicker Sam told us he uses his Z650 as a courier bike in New York City. He says the clutch is featherlight, and the bike is so narrow he can fit through gaps that would stop a scooter. He has put 80,000 miles on it, and the only thing he has replaced is the chain and sprockets. You can find these used for roughly $4,500 to $5,500. New ones are $8,100. It is a bargain for a bike that looks this aggressive. Help us favor the algorithm and like this video. Number 13. Honda 919. This bike is a cult classic. In the early 2000s, Honda took the engine from the legendary CBR 900 ARM Fireblade, the bike that invented the modern superbike class, and detuned it for torque. They stuffed it into a simple steel frame, put two high-mount exhausts under the seat, and created the 919. It features a 919 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine. It makes 110 horsepower. Because it is an inline-4, it is smooth. It pulls like an electric motor from idle all the way to redline. It doesn't have the violent kick of a twin. It has a relentless, turbine-like surge. It hits 145 miles per hour. These are getting harder to find, but they are incredibly cheap. You can pick up a clean example for $3,500 to $4,500. It is the most horsepower per dollar on this entire list. The Honda is a sleeper, but our next bike screams for attention. It takes a screeching 600cc race engine and strips it naked. It begs you to break the law, and if you keep the revs low, you are completely missing the point. Number 12. Yamaha FZ6. Before the MT series took over the world, there was the FZ6. This bike is essentially a Yamaha R6 superbike engine that has been told to calm down, but it didn't listen very well. It features a 600 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine. It makes 98 horsepower. Because it comes from a 600cc supersport, it loves to rev. Below 7,000 RPM, it is a gentle puppy. Above 7,000 RPM, it screams like a banshee and tries to launch you into orbit. It hits 140 miles per hour. Ergonomically, it sits higher than the Suzuki or Kawasaki. The tank is wide. The underseat exhausts warm your backside on cold days. It feels substantial. It uses an aluminum die-cast frame that looks premium. This is the high RPM hero. It is for the rider who misses the screaming sound of a sport bike but hates the back pain. It forces you to work the gearbox. You have to keep it in the power band, which makes you feel like a MotoGP racer even when you are just merging onto the highway. Revy Limit Rick says he loves the dual personality. He rides it to works in the rain and it's docile. Then he takes it to the twisties, keeps it above 10,000 RPM, and chases down leader bikes. He bought his for $3,000. It is ridiculous value. You can find these all day long on Marketplace for $2,500 to $3,500. Just make sure to check the charging system, as old Yamahas sometimes like to eat rectifiers. The Yamaha screams, but our next bike sings. It produces an exhaust note so addictive, it should be illegal. It is widely considered the best handling street bike ever made. And for the price of a used Civic, it will make you feel like a 𝐏𝐄𝐑 god. Number 11, Triumph Street 650. Now we enter the world of exotic sound. The Triumph Street Triple is widely considered one of the best handling motorcycles ever made, period. It features a 675 cubic centimeter inline triple engine. This is the magic number. It has the low-end torque of a twin and the top-end scream of a 4. It makes 105 horsepower. It hits 145 miles per hour. But speed isn't the point. Handling is the point. This bike weighs absolutely nothing, around 370 pounds dry. It falls into corners with telepathic speed. You look at the apex and the bike is already there. Ergonomically, it is aggressive but upright. The bug-eye headlights are iconic. This is the Scalpel. It is for the rider who values precision over brute force. It is the track day weapon that you can ride to work. The intake noise alone is worth the price of admission. It sounds like a jet engine inhaling a flock of seagulls. Triple Terry says he sold his Ducati to buy this because the maintenance was cheaper and the fun factor was higher. He says the induction howl at full throttle is addictive. He warns that you will lose your license because the bike begs you to go fast. You can find early round headlight models for $4,000 to $5,000. The R models with adjustable suspension command a premium, usually around $6,000. It is the most fun you can have with your clothes on. The British Triple is precise, but sometimes you just want raw, reliable muscle. Our next bike is the best kept secret in the industry. It has the engine of a legendary race bike, but it wears a disguise so effective that even the cops won't look twice. Number 10, Suzuki GSX-S750. This is the most underrated bike on the market. Everyone talks about the MT-07 or the Z900, and they forget about the Suzuki GSX-S750. That is a mistake. This bike uses the engine from the legendary 2005 GSX-R750, arguably the perfect sport bike engine. It features a 749 cubic centimeter inline 4. It makes 114 horsepower. It is incredibly smooth. It has traction control, which is a nice safety net on a cheap bike. It hits 145 miles per hour. Ergonomically, it feels like a big bike. It is wide and planted. It doesn't feel like a toy. It feels like a machine built to do a job. The suspension is basic, but effective. The brakes are strong. It doesn't have a TFT screen or Bluetooth. It just has a tachometer and a speedometer. This is the blue-collar superbike. It is for the rider who wants GSX-R performance without the GSX-R insurance premiums. It is invisible to cops. It looks like a standard commuter, but it has the heart of a race winner. 𝐏𝐄𝐑 says he bought this bike because he couldn't afford the insurance on a Supersport. He says it turned out to be a blessing. He rides it comfortably for hours, and when he hits the canyons, the GSX-R heritage shines through. The engine is bulletproof. You can find these used for practically nothing. We're talking $4,500 to $6,000 for a low-mileage example. It is a steal. What is your favorite motorcycle you've ever owned? Let us know in the comments. Number 9. Yamaha MT-07. This is the bike that changed the game. When Yamaha released the FZ650, they embarrassed everyone else. They built a budget bike that was more fun than bikes costing twice as much. It features a 689 cubic centimeter parallel twin with a cross-plane crank. This crank offset mimics a V-twin firing order. It makes 74 horsepower, but the torque feels like double that. It is a wheelie factory. The front wheel refuses to stay on the ground. It hits 125 miles per hour, but you won't care about top speed because you will be laughing too hard in second gear. Ergonomically, it is tiny. It feels like a BMX bike with an engine. It is narrow and light. The suspension is soft, too soft for heavy riders, but that just adds to the bouncy, playful nature. It is not a precision tool, it is a pogo stick of joy. This is the Hooligan Starter Kit. It is perfect for the rider who wants to learn how to stunt or just wants to make their commute the best part of their day. It is incredibly reliable. Yamaha built this engine to be abused. Wheelie Wayne says he has looped his MT-07 twice in a parking lot. He picked it up, zip-tied the plastics back on, and rode it home. He says he will never sell it. Because they are so popular, used prices are steady. You can find them for $5,000 to $6,500. A new one is $8,200. The Yamaha is a hooligan, but our next bike wears a suit. It is the last of a dying breed. A middleweight with 4 cylinders screaming in harmony. It is sophisticated, beautiful, and polite until you twist the throttle past 10,000 RPM. Number 8. Honda CB650F. While Yamaha went for torque, Honda stuck to their guns with the inline 4. The CB650 is the only bike in the middleweight class that still offers 4 cylinders. It features beautiful waterfall header pipes that pay homage to the classic CB404. It features a 649 cubic centimeter inline 4. It makes 94 horsepower. It screams to 12,000 RPM. It is smooth, refined, and sophisticated. It hits 135 miles per hour. Ergonomically, it is compact and dense. It feels premium. The switches feel expensive. The paint is deep. It doesn't feel like a budget bike. It feels like a scaled-down superbike. The R model brings neo-sports cafe styling that looks incredible parked in front of a coffee shop. This is the classy screamer. It is for the rider who wants the sound of a Formula One car, but the reliability of a Honda Civic. It is civilized until you make it angry. Honda Hank says the vibration through the handlebars can be annoying at certain RPMs, but the sound makes up for it. He put an aftermarket exhaust on it, and he says it sounds better than his buddy's BMW S1000RR. Used F models can be found for $5,000. The newer R models are around $6,500 to $7,500. The Honda is classy, but our next bike is a brute. It was only sold here for 1 year, making it a rare beast. It is heavy, it is mean, and it proves that sometimes there is no replacement for displacement. Number 7. Kawasaki Z800. This bike was only sold in the US for 1 year, making it a bit of a unicorn, but in Europe, it was a legend. It is heavy, weighing in at 518 pounds, but it carries that weight with serious muscle. It features an 806 cubic centimeter inline 4. It makes 113 horsepower. Because the engine is heavy and the gearing is short, it pulls like a tractor. It feels incredibly planted on the highway. The weight actually helps it stay stable in crosswinds. It hits 145 miles per hour. Ergonomically, it is wide. The tank spreads your legs. You feel like you are riding a bull. The suspension is surprisingly good for a budget bike. It looks like an alien predator. This is the heavyweight boxer. It isn't nimble like the Yamaha, but it hits harder. It is for the rider who wants a bike that feels substantial and unbreakable. Zach says he bought the Z800 because he is a big guy and he looked like a bear on a tricycle on the MT-07. The Z800 fits him perfectly. He loves the smoothness of the 4-cylinder engine. Because they are rare in the US, prices fluctuate, but you can usually find them for $5,500 to $6,500. It is a lot of metal for the money. The Z800 is a heavyweight boxer, but there is one bare-knuckle brawler you should know. It was the original factory street fighter. It is rude, it is loud, and it has an engine note that sounds like a rally car gargling gravel. Number 6. Triumph Speed Triple 1050. If the street triple is a scalpel, the speed triple is a sledgehammer. This is the original factory street fighter. In the 90s, Triumph noticed people were crashing their Daytonas and taking the fairings off. So they built a bike that came that way from the factory. It features a 1,050 cubic centimeter inline triple. It makes 135 horsepower and 82 foot-pounds of torque. It is a torque monster. You can leave it in 3rd gear and ride all day. It hits 155 miles per hour. Ergonomically, it is short and stubby. You sit over the front wheel. The single-sided swing arm looks exotic. The twin high-mount exhausts on the older models look incredible. It is a brute. This is the block bruiser. It is for the rider who wants to be a hooligan but wants a bike with heritage. It wheelies off the throttle in 1st and 2nd gear effortlessly. It is not polite. Speedy Steve says the electrical system on the older models can be finicky, but the engine is bulletproof. He calls it the best-sounding engine in history. He says it burbles and pops on deceleration like a rally car. You can find the round headlight for $4,500 to $5,500. The newer slant-eye models go for $6,000 to $8,000. Quick pause. We are entering the top 5. These are the bikes that will scare you. If you are ready for serious speed, make sure you are subscribed. So click on it and like this video while you're at it. Number 5. Kawasaki Z900. This is the current king of value. Kawasaki decided to replace the Z800 with something lighter and more powerful. They built the Z900 and it is a masterpiece. It features a 948 cubic centimeter inline 4. It makes 125 horsepower. It weighs only 460 pounds. That power to weight ratio is serious. It hits 155 miles per hour. Ergonomically, it has a low seat height, making it accessible to everyone. The riding position is perfect. Slight lean forward, wide bars. The engine is buttery smooth, but has a savage intake roar when you open the throttle. This is the perfect all-rounder. It is fast enough to scare you, comfortable enough to tour on, and cheap enough to buy new. It does everything well. Z9 Nick says he traded his Supersport for this and hasn't looked back. He says it is faster in the real world because the suspension actually absorbs bumps instead of launching you into the air. He rides it every day, rain or shine. Used models are everywhere. You can find them for $6,000 to $7,500. A new one is $9,800. It is arguably the best value in motorcycling right now. But there is a bike that is basically a sledgehammer wrapped in velvet. It looks like a boring dad bike, but it hides an engine with so much torque it can practically rotate the earth. It is the ultimate sleeper. Number 4. Suzuki Bandit 1250. Do not let the looks fool you. This bike looks like a boring commuter. It looks like a dad bike, but it has an engine that produces earth-rotating torque. It features a 1,255 cubic centimeter inline 4. It makes roughly 100 horsepower, which sounds low for a 1250, but it makes 80 foot-pounds of torque at just 3,700 RPM. That is basically idle. You twist the throttle and the horizon comes to you. It hits 150 miles per hour. Ergonomically, it is a couch. Big wide seat, rubber-mounted handlebars. You can ride this bike across the country without stopping. It is heavy, but the weight disappears once you are moving. This is the torque monster. It is for the rider who doesn't care about peak horsepower numbers. They care about overtaking power. You never have to downshift. Just twist and go. Bandit Bob says he puts massive luggage on his bike and tours with his wife. He says the bike doesn't even notice the extra weight. He calls it a locomotive on 2 wheels. These are criminally cheap. You can find them for $3,500 to $5,000. It is the cheapest way to get massive torque. And now, the top 3. Are you ready? If you value your license, this is the perfect time to look away. Let's go. Number 3. Yamaha MT-09. If the MT-07 is the hooligan starter kit, the MT-09 is the graduate program. This bike is wild. It features an 847 cubic centimeter triple engine. It makes 115 horsepower. It is light, twitchy, and aggressive. The throttle response on the early models was famously jerky, like an on-off switch. It wheelies in 3rd gear. It hits 145 miles per hour. Ergonomically, you sit very upright, almost like a dirt bike. The foot pegs are low. The seat is flat. You feel like you are sitting on top of the front wheel. This is the drift machine. It is for the rider who wants to slide into corners and wheelie out of them. It is chaotic energy in motorcycle form. It is not relaxing. It demands your attention. Master of Torque Mike says the suspension on the early models was trash, too soft and bouncy. He upgraded the shock and forks, and now he says it is a giant killer. He says it eats tires because the front wheel is never on the ground. You can find early FZ09s for $5,500 to $6,500. Just be prepared to upgrade the suspension. The Yamaha is wild, but our next bike is terrifying. It was designed to look like a predator, and it acts like one. It is pure, unfiltered aggression. Number 2. Kawasaki Z1000. This is the bike that looks like it wants to eat your children. Kawasaki calls the design language Sugoi, which roughly translates to terror, or it looks hunched, muscular, and mean. It features a 1,043 cubic centimeter inline 4. It makes 142 horsepower. It is geared incredibly short, meaning the acceleration is violent. It pulls harder than almost anything on the street up to 100 miles per hour. It tops out at 155 miles per hour. Ergonomically, it is aggressive. The bars are low. The display is tiny. The suspension is stiff. It is not a tourer. it is a street fighter. It vibrates a bit, but that just adds to the sensation of power. This is the street brawler. It is for the rider who wants to dominate the streets. It has incredible presence. People move out of your way when they see those 4 exhaust pipes and the Predator headlight in their mirror. Z1 Zach says he loves that it has no electronic rider aids on the older models, no traction control, no modes, just raw power. He says it commands respect. You can find Gen 3 models for $5,500 to $6,500. The newer Gen 4 models are around $7,000 to $8,000. And finally, the #1 naked bike that is cheap, reliable, and absolutely rocket ship fast. Number 1. Suzuki GSX-S1000. This bike holds the crown because of its heart. It uses the K5 engine, the engine from the 2005 GSX-R 1000. This is widely considered the greatest sport bike engine ever built. It is long-stroke, torque-heavy, and unburstable. It features a 1,000 cubic centimeter inline 4. It makes 150 horsepower. It weighs only 460 pounds. It has traction control. It hits 155 miles per hour, electronically limited, but it gets there with terrifying speed. Ergonomically, it uses Renthal fat bars. The position is commanding. It is comfortable enough for daily riding, but aggressive enough for the track. The frame is taken directly from the GSX-R. This is the king of the street. It gives you the legendary K5 engine reliability and power for pennies. It is faster than the Z1000. It is smoother than the MT-09. It is cheaper than the European bikes. 𝐏𝐄𝐑 says he has put 70,000 miles on his. He does track days, commutes, and tours. He says the engine is a masterpiece. It pulls from idle to redline with a ferocity that is addictive. It never leaks. It never breaks. You can find used models for $6,000 to $7,500. That is 150 horsepower for $6,000. It is the best deal in the motorcycle world. Click on the next video for more motorcycle content.